Hey everyone, my name is Alina Perry-Smith. I'm a photographer in Palm Coast, Florida. And today we're going to be talking about why I own both the Hover Air and the DJI 4K Mini drone. And I realized that as a photographer, I'm always behind the camera, never in any memories. And so once I started using my GoPro and my Hover Air, I started to show up in my videos, I started to show up in my memories and my vacation and even my photo shoots. So it was a great way to capture me. Just me, I'm always never there. It looks like I'm never there. So this video is not about the technical stuff. I am gonna get into some things, but it's really about the reasons why I own both and some comparisons looking at the Hover Air and looking at the DJI, which I just got for myself for Christmas as my own Christmas present. So it's about showing up and being part of the scene and then looking at both and why both actually makes sense. All right, so as a photographer, I wanted to still add on some video footage, but I didn't want to make it professional. It's a free add-on that I provide to clients maybe for a 2-hour session, and sometimes I add it on to like wonderful events to give them some kind of video memory. I also love to travel. I've traveled with my friends to Scotland, and this year we already booked our Iceland trip. So as I travel, I want to document also in video and not just photography, and capture both. But I also wanted it to be free and easy, and I found that purchasing the Hover Air X1 was simple. You didn't need a license, you didn't need a lot of training, and you certainly didn't need to tell the FAA that you were flying. So why did I buy the DJI 4K Mini? For the same reasons. It's under the weight limit, you don't have to register it, you just had to take a simple test, the trust test, and you can fly under the radar. You don't need to have it licensed or insured. So I wanted something simple and easy, and these two drones make sense for that reason. All right, so how do these two things differ, and how do they fly differently? The Hover Air X1 Pro, which is here, very cute, does not have satellite. It uses what they call a Visual-Inertial Odometry, which is a VIO, and it is kind of like an eye, right, which has an eye and a sense of balance. So it follows you. The DJI is a satellite drone. It uses the satellites in the air to be able to fly. Two different technologies when you're flying, and that makes a difference in how you record and what you're recording. So the Hover Air drone can fly indoors, it can follow you, and it knows exactly where you are. It can be in tight spaces and maneuver around certain objects as it follows you. It is a great little drone that has that technology, and so it really captures a different kind of video. If this little drone loses visual reference, like over sand and water or just repeated patterns, it can get lost. So for that reason, I also don't feel comfortable having it fly over buildings and around large objects. I try to keep this little drone very close to me. And so I do use it to take larger settings and lift it up. But I don't go over buildings, and I try to keep it more to people and look at the surroundings via people. Absolutely love my Hover Air X1 Pro. I think it does a great job of making memories, and people think it's a lot of cool. It's like a little mosquito flying in the sky. What it does great is they're pre-programmed scenes, and so my favorite is dolly track, follow, and orbit. Those are my 3 favorite because you are in them and it kind of picks up the scene as you're walking or just sitting around and going around in a circle and kind of getting that fun movement that you can do in any location. So those are my favorite. It's also very super lightweight. and foldable. It fits in your pocket, easy to carry. A lot of times I don't even use the joystick, which I do own, so that I can be away from the video and take some scene shots without myself in it. But most of the time, this is all I use. And sometimes I'll connect it to my phone. Most times I just use the pre-programmed scenes that are in there. Good to go. One of the hard lessons with this Hover X1 Pro is that if it is not on omni-terrain, you can lose it at the beach. It does not like sand and water in combo. So many a time it has flown almost hitting the water. My first hover, I actually lost to a pool. It went right, dived in, right into the water. Boom, it worked for a little while, but not anymore. So this is the second version of my hover that I have. And so you have to be careful. Make sure that you flip it upside down when you turn it on, hold it, wait for that omni-terrain to start, and then it will be better when it has multiple locations and multiple scenes recording. Okay, a huge difference between the Hover Air and the DJI is that the Hover Air, using your phone, you can record audio with it. As you're standing there with your cell phone on and in the program, it will allow you to record audio. However, I find that it looks like a foreign movie and your mouth is moving, but the voice is like 2 steps behind as you're recording. So it's kind of a weird thing that they do, and you have to be a little bit of an expert in a videography editing, and a CapCut and certain programs will help you do that, but it's a lot of work, I find. So a lot of times I don't record the audio anyway, but it is there for you to use if you'd like. So who is the Hover Air perfect for? Actually, it's perfect for anybody. Anybody can take this on vacation. Anybody can carry this anywhere. But a lot of bikers like this, a lot of skiers like this. The reason is that it's easy to travel with. It does a great follow, so it's a lot of fun to see your videos as you're going. And so a lot of sports enthusiasts really like this. I know the Hover is coming out with something new, so they're coming out with the water one. It's waterproof, so that should be super exciting. But it is a great tool. Me personally, I don't do any of those things. I just like going hiking and walking and looking at scenery when I travel. So that's what I mostly use it for. And of course, I also use it for my clients to document their fun photo sessions and just make it a little bit more fun. It's always a lot of fun to see what the Hover is going to do in the middle of the beach. So I've talked a lot about the Hover Air X1 Pro, and I do love it. I do. It's a great drone to own. So why did I buy this one then? You're asking, why invest in another drone if I already have my Hover and I'm super happy with it? Well, I wanted something that could capture more aerial views. And this little guy, although it's fun, I found I was missing a lot of shots that I wanted to take during my Scotland vacation. And so I saw these wonderful castles and these wonderful monuments, and I was terrified to lift it above and travel it over the landscape to get the full view of those beautiful castles and beautiful aerial shots over water. So hence DJI, because this little guy doesn't need FAA approval, it doesn't need to be registered, and it's great to travel in many locations internationally. So this little guy, I'm hoping, will take those shots to the next level, especially when I travel now to Iceland. I'm super excited. Will I be taking my Hover Air X1 Pro too? Absolutely. I love to take documenting and vacations, and I love to take it in different formats. So I'll be taking actually all three, my GoPro, which I'm recording on, and these two guys, plus my camera. I look a little crazy when I travel, I know, but it makes me happy. So a little bit about the setup of this DJI. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I realized there's a little bit more weather reality and a little bit more things that you have to do in order to fly this drone. First of all, I had to take this trust test. Yeah, it was only 30 minutes and it was free. So not a big deal, but I still have to carry that with me just in case I get stopped by someone and ask me if I know how to fly a drone and have permission to. So, yep. Make sure you take that trust test before you even take it out of the box. Also, I had to download a UAV app, forecast app, to check the weather and make sure that I could fly it on that day. I don't have to do that with the hover. I just kind of look around. Is it windy? Is it not windy? Yeah, we could fly it today. It stays close enough to the ground that it's really not that crazy unless I'm at the beach. So I've never had to really look at an app to make determinations on if I'm flying a drone or not. So yesterday I went to go fly this little sucker for the first time, and it said absolutely no. And so I had to wait until that KP came down because it was at 6.5. So the satellites would be interrupted and I might lose my drone in air with the communication errors. So I had to stop. That doesn't happen with the Hover Air. And so those are two different things that you have to just be careful about. Also, you have to have a clear picture of the wind. Is the wind up high? How is that looking versus at ground level? Totally different wind speeds at times, so things to check out and get to know. And so I also have that autopilot that I have to know because I'm sitting in a park today, but it is close to an airport, and so there are some restrictions on flying, and so I have to be careful which direction I go and how close I get to that airport. With the hover, I never really had to think about things like that, even though I don't plan on taking my DJI too far, but you never know what the flight restrictions are, and so two things to check out before you even take it off. All right, so these two drones have very similar ways of recording. The hover, you record right into the hover app, and then it gives you a low resolution preview, and then you can download it into your phone. The DJI has an SD card attached to it. And remember that when you use SD cards, you have to use something that is a little bit of a higher MP, at least 200, so that you capture 4K video. And then you also want to have enough memory in there, so at least 128 or 256 minimum to be able to capture anything of substance for a long period of time. So once you have this captured, in the app you can see a preview of it, and then you can also download it to your phone. Or you can pull out the SD card, attach it to your bigger card that you have that is a converter, and then you can download it into your computer, depending on which programs you use. I like to use simple video editing programs like CapCut and Quick. Like I said, I'm not a videographer. I'm a photographer, so I don't want something too complicated when I video and do my video editing. And those two programs seem to work really well for me. Let's talk about recording. Both the Hover and the DJI say that they record in horizontal or vertical. However, that is not the case. Hover truly does record in vertical. However, it does only record in vertical at a 2.7. So therefore, you're not getting 4K like you would if you were doing horizontal. And also, you have to be careful because if you have multiple people, you can cut them off as you're recording in vertical. But it's great for social media like Instagram or TikTok. Versus the DJI that says that it's going to record in vertical. However, it's only recording in horizontal. It gives you the vertical view, and then you have to post crop it when you go into your processing. So final verdict? Own both. Why not? They're both different. They're not competitors. They do different things. The Hover is a fun memory maker. It is social media friendly. It provides that fun moment with the pre-disposed scenes that you can capture with. It's easy. It fits in your pocket. You can take it anywhere, even on bike rides. why not own this one? If you want to have more aerial landscape views and you want those really beautiful scenes that you can capture when you're traveling, take this one. It has more stability, more distance, more height. So it does two different things. Final thoughts. Since I started using video, I noticed something. I'm in my memories. And that's what really matters, right? Being a part of your memories. If you're the photographer, you're always taking the pictures. You're never in them unless you do the little angle like this and you do your selfie. You're not in them usually. So these two drones really make it easy for you to be in the scenes. I know that DJI does some self-tracking. I haven't used it yet, so I know it will do it and you can still be in the scene. So honestly, what matters is not having that professional drone. That wasn't important to me. It was about making memories and being in those memories. I hope this helped you. If it did, please follow me for more videos. Follow my channel for some gluten-free traveling over 60 and some clients that I also take video of and make fun memories with.